My name is Olia. I'm from Ukraine, and for the past 6 years I've been living in Finland. I love gardening, and I tend to fill my days with different hands-on projects. Anything that lets me build, grow, or shape something over time. About 5 months ago, I moved from Helsinki to a small village in the Finnish countryside. Now, with 1 acre of land, something in me has woken up. My Ukrainian soul is already imagining it filled with crops, flowers, and all kinds of life. Even though the Finnish summer is short, I want to make the most out of it. But before any of that can actually begin, there are a few things I need to figure out. Like how to protect my future garden from deer and other wildlife that move through this land as if it's their own. And in a way, it is theirs. We are the newcomers here, not them. April is the month when everything begins. The time to prepare the soil, to build, and to plant. But recently we ran into another problem. Our car, which is only 1 year younger than me, didn't pass its yearly inspection. Now it's not allowed on the road. And suddenly, being without a car right at the start of the season left me feeling completely defeated.
Yeah.
So these days, we're just working through it all, spending long hours in the garden or in the garage, doing what we can, fixing what's possible, and moving forward with what we have. By the end of the day, I'm often physically tired, but at the same time, I've never felt this kind of excitement. Waking up each morning with a clear sense of what I want to do next. So now let me rewind a few weeks and take you through the months of April. I hope you'll join me in this new exciting chapter I've just embarked on. And maybe we'll figure some things out together. The last week it's been very windy and cold, so I haven't been doing much in the yard. And it's still like that today, but it's only 1 week left before Easter. And I still have too many projects I want to finish before Easter, so yeah, I can't wait any longer. The week before Easter is usually a time for deep spring cleaning, when you get to the spaces that really get your attention. And this year, besides preparing the house, I also decided to focus on the garage. This is all the dirty space. It is quite disorganized and messy because we've been fixing our car lately, so yeah, it's like that right now. Having a garage has always been a dream of my husband's. He's always wanted a space where he could work on a car. And that was one of the criteria when we were looking for a house. And since lately we started spending more time in the garage, working through some issues with our car, I wanted to make it a more comfortable space to be in, to clear the clutter and to get rid of the dust and debris that have built up there over the years. It's a 2-car garage, and since we only use one side for the car, I've started making plans for the other second half of it. I want to turn it into my woodworking studio. I want to build a space where my tools have their own spots, and where I can leave a project in progress just as it is, without having to pack everything away every time at the end of the day. Do you see how much dust there is on the floor? I already cleaned that area, and also this part is already cleaned, and it's so much nicer to work when the floor is clean. as I've been cleaning it step by step, I've also been thinking about how to make this space work better and what I can do to make it neat and organized. Ти замерзнеш. В кого відпустка? Я думаю про поличку для шин. Так. Сюди. We were talking about that we need a space to store our winter tires, so I'm thinking about making a shelf in this corner. I have some timber, so let's see what I can make. Купили кабель для діагностики машини. Чекали його декілька тижнів, а він не підходить. Ця штучка ширша. Будемо пиляти, як скажеш. Ух ти! І що в нас з машинкою?
У нас є декілька помилок.
Ого, вона прям детально все показує. Ого.
Countryside of Finland.
Що, ти німецькою не говориш, чи що? I really enjoy creating things with my own hands. Building something from scratch and making it fit exactly to my needs. And one of the things I love most about working with wood is that any project can be reused and given a second life in a completely different form. This shelf I'm making is a perfect example of that. The timber I'm using here comes from shelves I built a few years ago for my balcony. I remember thinking back then that it probably would have been cheaper and easier to just buy something ready-made, since I had to get all the timber, screws, and even tools. But now I'm simply reusing what I already have, and there is something so satisfying about that, about not letting things go to waste and finding new use and purpose for them. And that is what makes handmade projects feel special to me. They have a history, and with every new use, that history grows a little more. That's better. All right. Я тобі показати дещо хочу. Дивись.
Краса.
Do you hear these birds? The sound they make is so strange. Іду, коханий, я додому прийшла. And then in April, it was also time to collect birch sap. We have a few birch trees on our property, so I wanted to get some of this nutrient-rich drink that can help restore your energy after winter. In my family, we collected birch sap every spring. We drank it fresh every day during the season, and we also fermented and preserved some of it for later. But Oleh has never actually tried it fresh before, and I wanted him to also have this experience. wondering when it's gonna get warmer, because it's still cold and it's so windy. It's such a strong wind just every day. I'm a little scared even to take off my drone. You don't know it, but it's already my second drone. The first one I lost because of the strong wind. I had a warranty on it, so I replaced it and just paid some small fee for that. But I don't want to lose my drone again. The light is getting intense. I probably look like that on the camera. We took a car for Katsastus today and they found a whole list of issues we need to fix. And basically we are banned from driving. Yeah. The good news is that the ban is because our summer tires are worn off. So we already ordered a new set of tires. I hope we can get and put them on by the end of next week, so it is manageable. We also ordered some spare parts to fix other issues they found, but our main concern is rust, because we can't fix it ourselves. We asked some locals and they recommended a repair service where we possibly can fix that, so we're gonna ask them tomorrow. And I really hope we can fix all of that in 2 weeks. That is ideally, but hopefully in a month, because I just don't know how we're gonna manage without a car. And it's this time of year where I need to do a lot of stuff in the garden, so I need to drive to specific shops. And yeah, I guess I'm just gonna be late with everything. And I'm sure we can fix all of that and we will manage, of course, but it's just such a bad timing. There are so many birds right now on the lake. Don't look at this mess behind me. I'm gonna clean it up soon. I've noticed that we have some old windows left up there. I want to reuse them and I'm thinking about building coat frames. Luckily, I bought timber for that last weekend, so I'm just happy I can build at least something for the garden right now. I just have to figure out how to put them down because it's really high and I certainly need help with it. There are also some timber left from the previous owners and that is really nice because did you see the prices for the wood? Everything is just so expensive. When I was planning these beds, my biggest question was what kind of timber to use and how to protect it from rotting. Wood like oak is naturally more resistant, but it's also more expensive, and I didn't want to spend too much on this project. So I decided to go with simple pine boards. I also chose not to treat the wood with any protective chemicals, since the frame will be in direct contact with the soil, and the whole point for me is to grow healthy, clean food. For the same reason, I didn't use any plastic lining inside the beds. Instead, I made peace with the idea that this won't last forever, and if some of the boards rot in a year or two, I'll just replace them. In April, the nights are still freezing and the weather is unsettled. So even though the beds will provide some extra protection, I planted only cold-resistant crops like peas, lettuce, and some greens. And I also couldn't resist planting some flowers a little earlier. Алло, треба, щоб ви мені підказали. Сьогодні в нас субота перед Великднем, і сьогодні я готую традиційні українські пасочки. Тісто я замісила ще з учора, і воно в мене дуже гарно підійшло. Подивіться просто на це тісто. Це повітряний такий. Тепер мені треба зробити формочки, тому що я просто не знайшла, де їх можна тут купити. Але в мене є пергамент, і з цим ми зможемо щось придумати. Тут у мене клей з муки і води. Тут. Вау! Ну ми ж їсти завтра будемо. Сьогодні не можна. Ще не Пасха, ми вже їмо.
Ще 3 є.
Cheers. After Easter, the wind finally eased, the weather started to warm up, and I finally got to our apple trees. They hadn't been pruned last year, and one of them had really gone wild with new shoots. So this year I had to figure out how to cut away all the messy branches growing in the wrong directions and to not stress the tree too much. And I want to say a huge thank you here to the person who not only recommended this telescopic tree pruner for me, but also supported me with a donation so I could actually get it. It is expandable, so I can reach really high with this thing, and I don't need the ladder to cut these thin branches at the top of the tree. I can do just like that. Having this pruner made the whole process so much easier for me, especially with how much fresh growth there was to cut. Thank you so much, Pasi. I really appreciate it. Some of the branches had already gotten too thick, so I still ended up climbing up the tree with a saw here and there. And even though it wasn't just a quick chop, I really enjoyed those evenings in the garden. I'm cleaning apple branches and I'm sorting them by size. Don't worry, I haven't gone crazy. I just have a project in mind I want to use them for. It's also very meditative and I thought I'd talk to you while I'm doing this. It's a little easier to talk when you are doing something. You've probably noticed in this video that this time I'm mostly wearing gloves, because in my previous video a lot of people commented that I wasn't wearing gloves. There was even an assumption that it's a Ukrainian thing. Of course, I can't speak for all Ukrainians, but I think there might be some truth in it. I got used to not wearing gloves because that's the habit I picked from my parents. When I was growing up, they were saving on everything they could, and gloves weren't the essential for them. And as much as I can remember, all the working gloves we had at home were always torn. I'm trying to get rid of that habit, and as you can see, I'm making great progress. Not sure if these are the right type, but never mind. I've also seen a few comments asking how me and my husband Oleh met each other. I was surprised that some people thought that Oleh is Finnish. He is also Ukrainian. We moved to Finland together, and this year will actually be our 10th wedding anniversary. Wow! I thought about including the story of how we met in this video, but it's already getting quite long. I'm thinking about making a separate video on this topic, and if that's something you'd be interested in, or if you have any questions on this topic, let me know. And maybe I will include a little Q&A in that video too, but I don't know, we'll see. We met each other when we were 17 and we got married at 19. It's not very common, so I assume there might be some questions related to that. Yeah, just let me know what you think about this idea. Alright, I still have a big pile to go through. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a wonderful end to April. I'll see you in May, and hopefully by then these apple trees will bloom and there will be greenery everywhere. I can't wait. Goodbye.